Hi, Sun Devils. In this video, we're going to look at one of our review questions for Unit F. So in our image below, we're asked to solve for x, and x is marked over here as that angle O. We're going to round our answer to the nearest hundredth. So looking at the key pieces of information we're given, we see two right triangles, that smaller one, LMN, and the larger one, LMO. Both of them have right angle at M and height of 200. We see that angle N is marked as 33 degrees and the distance between N and O is 100. So we want to go through and we want to find this value of x. And if I separate just to look at that triangle that x is involved with, we would have our angle x, we would have our right angle at M, we'd have our height of 200. And then we know from that point N to our vertex O, there's a distance of 100. And as we go through and solve, or we find the missing angles for a right triangle, we know we can do that using trigonometry if we know two sides of our triangle. So we have one of our sides, we have the 200, but we're missing this extra piece or this extra part that would be combined with our 100 to find that full side in order to apply trigonometry. I'm going to go ahead and label this with a variable. I'm going to call it y because that's going to be my first goal, is I need to find this y. Now I can find it by, again, returning back to my original picture. This distance, or this y, is really represented by that side mn. So if we pull out our smaller triangle, we again have that height of 200. We have a right angle at M. We know this angle measure is 33, and we'd be looking for that base side, that y. Now I have one side, I have an angle, so using trigonometry, we can find that second side. As we label according to this 33, this reference that we had, well, our 200 is our opposite, our y is our adjacent. So thinking of our trigonometry, sine, cosine, tangent, this would be a tangent function utilizing the opposite and adjacent. Writing that equation, we would say the tangent of 33 is equal to opposite side 200 over adjacent side y. We are asked to go through, we have to figure out what y is to apply it to the next step of our problem. So seeing my setup, I know that I can switch around to solve for my y, and into my calculator I would put y equals that 200 divide by our tangent of 33. Now, because this is not my final answer, I'm not going to place it in my calculator. I'm not going to round with it quite yet. I'm just going to pick that crazy fraction to carry along with me and remind myself that that's what's filling in to that lower triangle. So as we view back to that lower triangle, we again have that 200 is our opposite side. Our y plus our 100 is going to be our adjacent side. And we now know two sides of our triangle, so we can go through and find that angle measure using trigonometry. Again, because we're dealing with opposite and adjacent, we're still thinking about the tangent function. So the tangent of our angle, in this case, that angle is labeled as x, is equal to that opposite side of 200 over the adjacent side. Now remember, the adjacent side isn't just the 100, but it's the 100 plus that extra piece or that extra part that we found. That 200 divided by the tangent of 33. And here we have this complex fraction, but it's okay because everything's going to go in our calculator to be solved for us. Again, I'm trying to find an angle, so we selected the tangent function based off the sides we have. But to actually find the angle of x, we have to use that tan inverse key. So I'm going to do my tan inverse of the 200 for the opposite side, divide by the 200 over tan 33 plus 100. So each of our pieces are opposite over our adjacent. Now this is going to go all into our calculator for our rounding purposes. So bringing in our calculator, I am going to use that Desmos scientific calculator. This is a calculator you can use through all your ALEKS topics and your Canvas coursework. So we're going to go through and I'm going to enter just what I have on the right side, this tan inverse of my complex fraction. So remember, to get to, I see my regular sine, cosine, but to get to their inverses, I'm going to hit that function. I'm going to hit my tan inverse. I notice that I'm already in degree mode, so I'm in that right space. Back to my main menu, I'm going to build my fraction. I'm going to put my 200 on top. In the denominator, I'm going to build a second fraction with my 200 on top. And I'm building the fraction just by hitting that divide key. Again, this gets my tangent of 33. I'm going to close those parentheses. Oops, that's a space, not a close. There we go. Go. And then plus our 100. Notice that as I'm doing plus the 100, it's still in that denominator part. So we're seeing that value come through. And then we have our angle, our 26.1154. We're asked to round to the nearest hundredth. So thinking about that rounding, this will give me x is equal to a 26.12. And again, we are measuring in degrees, so we would put our degree symbol if we were asked for labels. If we're just looking for the numerical answer, we're only going to type in that 26.12.